Ready. It looks all nice.
Okay,
So
great.
here I come. Ready? What would you like to say about yourself to people so that they have idea that somebody who is answering questions has certain kind of background, please?
Sure. Hi everyone, my name is Veronica and I'm 26 years old. I'm originally from Russia, but I've been living in London for a long time, and I'm a spiritual seeker. I'm into yoga. I also have my own podcast where I've interviewed Deepak in the past.
What's the name of your podcast?
It's called The Calling Within, and the podcast with you will be out very soon. So yeah, I guess I'm here to talk about my spiritual journey and my interest in yoga, and hopefully that's going to be beneficial to the listeners. So I'm very excited about it.
Definitely, anybody who is 26 or 62 or 18, there is always good take from all we discuss here, what to do and what not to do. Right? Ready? So first question, Veronica. How you think that you ended up in this kind of conversation and understanding that spirituality or the calling, and why you started your step towards this, where you have a different background, where you were working and doing business or those kind of things. How all of a sudden that shift happened?
Wow, that is a monumental question, and I actually think I haven't properly explained this on my own podcast. So it's going to be a very nice, I guess, summary of my journey.
That's nice.
And I can answer it from different angles. I guess the more I study, the more perspectives I have.
Yes.
So a couple of things that I want to mention. I think number one is probably karma. Like if it wasn't for my karma, either in this lifetime or from past lifetimes, I don't think I would be here. So that is number one. Number two, I think it's the case for a lot of people. They get dissatisfied from the material, the standard world that we live in.
That's nice.
Once I kind of realized that it didn't bring me happiness and the external chase for validation and material things hadn't proven to be fruitful for myself, I had started searching for something different, searching for fulfillment in books, self-development, and little by little, universe had brought me to spirituality. Yeah.
So you think that something is leading you. It's not you. It is not you. If you see, you meditate on it, you clearly see it's not that you, where you grew and your upbringing and all, can cause this kind of shift. It's something universe is calling, and that's happening, right?
Yeah, again, this is a monumental question. And I think there's a number of ways we can look at it. I certainly believe in higher power. I call it God. Some people call it the universe, whatever it is, law of attraction.
Yes.
I just, like, for ease of reference, call it God. And yeah, this is kind of my understanding.
But you don't consider God as one religion, right? Like some religion or anything like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't call myself religious. I would just call myself a spiritual seeker. I don't really like labels anyway.
Okay, that's what the question was.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I don't really like labels, but I guess for ease of understanding and reference, this is probably what I would call myself. But yeah, I don't really follow one religion. I was baptized. I was born in Russia, in a Christian country. I don't identify as Christian. It has more of a sentimental value for me. Personally, I can draw teachings from different religions, and I can I can take something useful away from different religions. But yeah, I don't call myself religious. I follow my intuition, and at the moment, kind of the most interest that I have are more in Eastern teachings and philosophies, or religions, depending on what you want to call them. Primarily yoga, Hinduism, Buddhism, Tantra. This is kind of where it originates. So I am somewhat surrendering to the callings, the intuition, and just see where it takes me along the path.
That's amazing. That's great way to look at it. There are people who are atheists, but still they believe in nothing. So still they believe. That is the point, that they believe in nothing. It's simple as if you understand this, there are people who want, right? Who want. And there are people who want to give. Yes? But still that is their want to give, want. So when you say God and your understanding, the only difference is there are people who are extremist into it. They have like blinkers, they don't see here and there. And there are people who appreciate everything around, and also they take things from other most simple example for this is people born in cities. They're, especially in India, when you're going to visit soon, you'll see there are people who are born in cities and they have Christians celebrating Christmas. They celebrate Christmas and they have no clue whatsoever to do with Santa or the history. They are concerned with the meal, party, and wine and dine. So that's their agenda. I'm talking about younger generation who grow like 15, 16 teens or even further. So they have that perspective and understanding. There are Muslim people, they have Ramadan. Now there are Catholics who follow Ramadan, but they have no clue whatsoever. They just understand the theme and that helps to them. So they take every bits and pieces, whatever helps them, like you said. But there is a big difference in extremist and somebody who takes from everything. One is conditioned and one is the calling or the intuition or the guidance, right? Coming to the next question, how much all this that you are doing, since how long you have been doing?
I would say the spiritual path probably started about 4 years ago.
Perfect, yeah. 4 years. So in 4 years, if you see yourself, right, if at all you had anxiety, if at all you had lows, extreme lows, or you felt like nowhere or lost or maybe overwhelmed or maybe too much or maybe too excited, right? Basically not at ease and not in balance. 4 years ago, and how did you progress every year and how do you see yourself today? Is there any ease and is there any progress? And it has to do with the spiritual calling, or you are growing older with more wisdom? What's the difference? How do you see?
I love your questions so much because they're so deep and so vast.
Thank you.
I would say I'm a different person, and I really struggle to identify myself with the version of me from 4 years ago.
Okay.
I even call her. Like, I can't call her me. For me, it's like a her. I don't know who she is. Very, very different person. I think there's many angles to my personal growth. Of course, spiritual aspect is huge for me. And just the fact that it's completely almost not overtaking my life, but it's become such a huge part of my life. It just shows how much impact it had on me. I would say me from 4 years ago, I did not have much meaning in life. I didn't know what surrender was. I didn't know what trust was. I didn't know what faith was. I never was really questioning. I was very much living in my logical and analytical mind. I'm sure a lot of people can probably relate, especially those who are very much into science and maths, which is what I was. I was just doing my studies, doing what I was supposed to, never questioning, and that's it.
Okay.
So I didn't have any meaning whatsoever. Right now, I still have low moments. I still have emotions. I still am working on myself. It's definitely a lifelong journey. Progress, I do see it, but I do see, so many lessons. Like, I know they're not exhausted, and there will be just different, I guess, types of lessons along my journey in the future. But definitely I have more meaning in life. I have more happiness. I have more surrender. And it's just a very different outlook on life. So before it was very materialistic, very logical, brain-oriented. I can't remember which hemisphere of the brain it is that is more logically dominant. I think
right or left?
Yeah, exactly.
Left or right?
Yeah, but I think I have transitioned from one hemisphere to
the
another.
Other.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't you think they were working before, or it was just one on or one off?
I think one was definitely more dominant.
Okay, dominant, yes, but they were both working for sure.
I hope so, yes. Yeah.
So when I say about 4 years progress, right, the question is mainly ease in the sense when you go to bed, right, you have certain fixed time as well. Like, okay, 10, I should allow this body to go to sleep, or maybe 9, or still it is chaotic like any random time. Second, ease means when you go to bed, you don't struggle or fight with your head or any corner of the planets or universe. You just allow this universe to go to sleep within, let's say, 10 or 20 minutes. Slowly, and you watch yourself going to sleep. Second ease is when you are on or off with people around and everyone, you are at ease. You don't panic if something is happening around or big sound, or you don't get shocked or all that. Anxiety, let's say, you don't get frustrated if something happens all of a sudden which you didn't expect it to happen, that you are still at ease and smiling and you don't see any sort of trouble in short term, and you get lost and then you lose, and your other few days are messed up as well. That's what. Do you experience that ease? If yes, what level?
Great question. I do experience it, but not often. I still have anxiety. I've struggled with anxiety for most of my life. Most of the time, if something frustrating happens, I always see the lesson in it, and that helps me process it. Whereas beforehand, I would definitely be fighting and resisting.
Yes.
At the moment, I'm more in surrender mode and trusting mode, that this lesson is there for a reason, and there will be something for me to take away from when this lesson is over.
Yes.
And I look forward to learning this lesson and to processing it and to taking something of value from it.
Yes.
I just being 100% honest, definitely still struggle with anxiety, and if there's a stressful event, if there's a difficult conversation coming up the next day, like the other day I had a difficult chat at work, I was still kind of thinking about it the night before, so it's still there. I would say I'm better at it, but definitely very far from 100% being at ease.
Okay. It's all coming, it's all work in progress. It doesn't mean people who do yoga, they are at ease all the time. They have a message that they got a ticket of 100 pounds. Doesn't matter how much yoga they do. Still, the experience hits in like anybody would. And depends what background they have, how much rent or this or that. Many concept affects that pound ticket. But if a person is sincere yoga practitioner or teacher, right, someone who shares yoga, the ease that comes after seeing the ticket, maybe for some people it will be 5 hours gone, 5 days gone, or even 30 days talking to 5 or 30 different friends, same thing about same ticket, and stressing more. It's like having some hurt and pinching it. That's what people do as well. And there are people who practice yoga as sincere yoga, and whatever has happened, they swallow it. That's what surrender and acceptance comes, and they try and not blame the universe and people around or the warden who is giving them a ticket. They take 100% responsibility, get real with life. Right? There are people. That's what the progress looks like with yoga. When I say this is with yoga. Yoga as yoga, and it brings, and it's process. Somebody getting sorted in 5 days, somebody getting sorted in 5 seconds, somebody getting sorted in 5 minutes. Nothing to do with financial background or anything. Event has happened. It's not my lifelong sentence for next life as well. It is short. That's what yoga does. And what you're experiencing, if you are really real, like you said, you have anxiety and all this, at least you are aware. Many people are not even aware of this, and they end up in drugstore with liquor or excess eating or XYZ without even thinking what is causing that. They think this is normal life. No, the events are causing all this. You understand? So you are coming with ease soon. It will come, and all of a sudden those who practice real yoga, as a teacher I work with many people, we do it today, and maybe after 10 years, all of a sudden for 50 years from then, a person is at ease. It's not overnight. Many years before did this process, and it comes. But you have to be 100% into it. Now you being spiritual and into it now, after all this calling and your interest increasing every single day, I hope that's what the case is.
Yeah, absolutely.
You want to just get better, and experience all that you read in spirituality. The sense of ease, peace, bliss, endless bliss, united, divine connection and all that. You are on the path, right? Do you think yourself, your old self, or your conditioning from before you took this path, it's still a hindrance? Example, eating not good food which is supporting your journey, irregular sleeping pattern or waking up pattern, cheat days of spirituality, is there anything from before is disturbing you? If so, what do you think you will do next to get out of it and be more sincere?
Yeah, those past conditionings and the ego, which is the conditioned self, very much there. And I'm sure every spiritual seeker can appreciate that it's incredibly difficult to get rid of the ego. And even on this spiritual path, a lot of people develop this spiritual ego, which I think sometimes people call it spiritual narcissism. Where
Yes, like I have to sit something higher than you.
Yeah.
Like a guru, and then like I have ego and then everybody's down there, right?
Yeah, it can. I think it can come in different forms.
Yes.
So very much still there. I'm not a perfect human, very far from it. Definitely still have an ego. I would say I have experienced certain ego-less states in meditation, and that really helped me to see myself from a different perspective and shift me more towards witness consciousness as opposed to identifying with my ego. I would say if I hadn't experienced those states, for me it would be very difficult even to grasp the idea of what it's like to not have an ego and to just be pure consciousness and be a witness. But yeah, just examples of my bad habits, definitely like chocolate a lot, like sweets, scrolling on social media, sometimes mindlessly. I think I have
How long? For hour?
No, I have a restriction on my Instagram, so not that long, but I can certainly get into the habit if there's a restriction. And also just to say, it's very difficult to fight with kind of bodily responses I found for myself. So obviously, like if I experience hunger, if I experience kind of
thirst.
Exactly.
Thirst towards the things you have tasted before.
Yeah.
A certain type of drink or urge of that taste, flavors.
Yeah, which what it is just coping mechanism, right? We're not going to die as a species, we're not going to eat chocolate or sugar. It's just all coping mechanism, it's addictions, it's the neuroplasticity that developed in the brain from different habits, etc.
Yes.
So yeah, I definitely am still fighting those habits. I'm trying not to be too harsh on myself, just me as a person, I think everyone's different. Because for me, I'm that kind of person, if I go extreme, sometimes I can like relapse, if that makes sense. Certain habits actually, I guess, what's the word, defeated. So for example, yeah.
You think they're not going to rise again ever?
I don't think so.
They had the last supper.
I think so. With this particular
habit.
Would
you like to name them? Please,
yeah, exactly. So the one that I'm talking about is drinking alcohol. So I used to be a drinker when I was at university.
What brand?
What I drank?
Yeah. Not brand, let's say vodka, gin, or whiskey, or beer. What was it?
It wasn't beer. It was a lot of different stuff. It's just kind of university culture and cocktails, wine, sometimes spirits.
When you said you have defeated it, right?
Yeah.
Defeated it. You never ever going to have that.
Yeah, I've been sober for just over a year now, completely. Hadn't had a sip of alcohol.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
So people out there should learn that if you don't drink, if you are already beautiful, you will shine even more. And you will retain your hair, it won't turn grey, and you will shine even more like that. Please go ahead. So one addiction is killed. What helped you to kill it?
Yeah, again, can come to it from different angles. I think number one, to be honest, I think it's almost like a universal push and the calling.
Okay, natural, instinctive from inside.
Yeah, exactly. So I started feeling very sensitive towards alcohol, and I still consider myself somewhat young. Like I don't think at this age like alcohol.
Why do you say somewhat young?
Well, I guess I'm not a child anymore.
People who are 50, they are calling each other girls and boys. No, we all are progressing, you never know. So you're young, never think that way, right?
No, I meant even from like a medical perspective. Like certain issues that I was having is not like a common thing at my age. So
what was the issue, if you don't mind?
So it was a very enhanced sensitivity to alcohol. So, and I can look at it again from different angles. I think what it was is there's been certain spiritual processes happening in my body from obviously asana practice, from meditation, that made me more susceptible. So for example, even if I have like half a glass of wine, I would really feel it the next day because I would have developed a new bodily awareness that I hadn't had before. So I would notice it and I would not like it, and it started interfering with my meditation and asana practice.
Okay, that's beautiful. And it was from within. Nobody gave you any guru gyan or your mother or father or anybody after you. It was natural, instinctive because you practiced asana and meditation. So that's what we talk about, clarity. You gain clarity. The more clear you see, the more distance you keep away from what we say, what is wrong, but not just because others are suffering, you experience yourself sometimes. Please go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. And I love how you clarified that point, and it's so important because I feel like for some people, even external influence is not going to make them defeat a habit. I think
for a while, maybe, or 2 days, you give them
yeah.
£1 million and they won't do it for a week, and they wait how soon the person dies so I can blow this money. Or maybe they can hide from that person and still blow the money, because it is all here. Unless it is from within you, nobody can change you. They might, like parents always tell you, do this is right, but if you meditate, you do asana or any discipline, if it is not coming from you inside, you can't kill it, because it can be like behind the curtain, and the curtain can be moved anytime, right? So that's really nice. Take this from her, asana and meditation. She is not even Indian. She is not under the pressure of her parents or any person whatsoever. She is free, young girl who decided to practice, and it helped her completely. No money to the rehab center, no drama around, which is priceless. That's really good. That's great.
Thank you.
That's
yeah.
super. It will help many people out there, especially girls who end up after drinking in wrong relationships with wrong people, and then more alcohol, more crying, and then counseling. So if you want to keep all that distance, what is triggering in first place, stop that, which is alcohol or any other drug. Beautiful. Please, let's move on to, I hope it doesn't trigger any thoughts otherwise in your head.
No, and just to clarify, I wasn't addicted to alcohol.
But still for fun, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely recreational drinking. And yeah, I just want to kind of finish up the point that
Yes.
I guess I reframed the thinking, how I viewed my body, which also just made me realize that alcohol had no place in me.
Yes.
I started valuing my body so much. I kind of was looking at it as a divine instrument, as like a creation of God. And then I looked at it from that perspective, and I said, how can I put this almost poison in my body? It just did not match up with my values anymore.
That's priceless. And it's natural that happened to you, right?
Yeah, again, from practicing yoga and reading books and really just looking and thinking a different way. It was difficult in the sense that not many of my people were sober, of my friends.
Friends, yes.
Yeah, they were sober. So I was the only strange one, and still am the strange one. I have more spiritual friends now, but that was a difficult element socially.
Definitely, that's peer pressure we call it, or maybe group, or whoever you're surrounded by, you end up. So when you say you practiced yoga and you ended up being sober and nice and the way you feel now, right? How much of Netflix, how much of movies, how much of hip hop and R&B helped you to think about not having alcohol?
What do you mean?
Like you said, reading helped you.
Yes.
Reading, and that is also not fiction and nonsense, reading about spiritual and something which is supporting you. In yoga we call it swadhyaya, which helps you on the right direction, which is beautiful. So how much Netflix or this kind of movies, Western kind of drama, R&B, hip hop, this, that helped you? Did they help?
Well, no, because most R&B songs are about quite nasty things, I would say, and glorifying drug culture, alcohol culture, all this kind of stuff.
Please listen, it's not somebody who is tamed or under the curtain. Somebody who is educated in Western country, living life at its best with pure awareness because of yoga and practice, not under any pressure. Please.
Yeah, for sure. Everything that I've done in terms of my spiritual development and self-development has been by choice, and I've been led to it.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, I also should note that podcasts helped me a lot. So I was never really a Netflix person, but I really enjoy YouTube and podcasts, and I've listened to a lot of them during the pandemic, which is another reason why I started my own, because they've benefited me so much.
To
and
help
just
people more.
exactly, yeah. And just looking at people that have been through so much and learned through so much, and that really inspired me. So I think just having exposure to those kind of people on the internet really helped me, because I didn't have this exposure in real life. There was still COVID. My colleagues, were very much just regular people, into corporate world, drinking culture. My dear friends, they weren't really spiritual.
Sorry to stop you again. When she mentions corporate culture and drinking, believe me, Central London, visit any day. I will try and add at this point certain video. Friday evening it starts, or even Thursday evening, and it goes to at its best by Saturday. And there are regular ones. Monday also they are there, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday evening. And when she says regular people, she is not belittling anyone. Regular people means people who don't want to progress, or they are stuck, or they are happy with that kind of lifestyle as well. Yes?
Yeah, I should probably clarify. When I meant regular people, I meant just like an average person, like take an average person on the street.
Yes.
Nothing, I'm not saying they're good or bad.
No.
It's just, they're just a product of the culture and
Yes.
the conditioning that they grew up in. So just, regular materialistic, capitalistic oriented.
Yes.
Not their fault or anything at all. Again, just the product
Conditioning. She mentioned the word. They are conditioned by the environment. So when you're listening to this also, we all are conditioned by many things, and yoga and meditation helps to get there. Please.
Yeah, absolutely. And just out of curiosity, do you drink yourself?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm drunk still. I drink 24/7. I drink water as much as possible.
So you don't drink any alcohol?
No.
Have you ever drunk alcohol?
Loads.
Really?
No. When it comes to alcohol, when we say, I haven't spoken about this, or I haven't used this as some kind of look at me and now learn from me because I was this and now I'm this, now learn from me. No, nothing to do with that. I've been to an extent where you can't imagine, so I can't talk about it. It's beyond of people what they are doing in today's times. I've lost 5 of my beautiful friends. They are all in the picture in the heaven, and they were from really great background. They had no kind of hesitation with lifestyle choices, with money and whatsoever. They were royal kind of support from parents. Few of them were like one and only child, and when you are rich, wealthy, you have only one child, how will you pamper that child, right? The city and this drug abuse took them. I am aware I'm talking here. So when we talk about, you hear podcast people talk about certain things. I don't make that element in my yoga teaching as well to kind of leverage on it and sell my business or do business with people. I'm alive because of this beautiful practice called yoga and my dad. I was in city. There is nothing that I've missed in life when it comes to anything which you can think of, and many things which you can't think of because it doesn't exist anymore. So I've been that deep. Like you say, well, it's simple to put it is every saint has a past, and what's the other person? Every sinner has a future.
Ah, yes.
Yes.
Beautiful saying.
So now I'm saint at the moment. I've been before X, Y, Z. So when you say about drink, I've experienced everything at its best, but every single time I had it, it wasn't me. It was because of other reasons I did that. Like you said, city, conditioning. I couldn't see that until my dad enrolled me into yoga.
How old were you when you were enrolled into yoga?
Okay, so that's a good question. I started yoga when I was 14, but before that I've been into that yoga school to get mangoes and many things as a child, and lots of, it was like a really big school. It's 1 acre of land and many foreign people came. For us it was entertainment. We used to do certain kind of accents, German, English, and just have fun as kids. But when I went in as 14-year-old, still I wasn't in there. But slowly it got into my system, and I come from a Brahmin family. That is another conditioning, and somehow I got saved because of this kind of, and my father basically, he was real karma yogi, a real genuine person. If he had problems, it would have passed on to me. He was clear and a good person, a good human being, good family man. So that helped. If he was abusive, then everything would have gone wrong, right? He was the one got me into yoga. He gave me education, gave me money, gave me everything. So I give credit to him and that yoga school next to my house, and to myself that I consistently went there, irrespective of sometimes out, sometimes in, but whenever I was in, I was in. It's just instinctive, like you said, and being real. The moment you're not real, you go messed up. You can't be on two boats at the same time. And yoga helped me. I have friends who speak slangs, city slangs, and that doesn't mean I can't. If you say 10 of them speak, I was the teacher to them how to speak. So you see the difference, right? So I can't get into those kind of things, but yoga helps for sure, another level. Yes? Please, good question. Now coming back to you from that. When you say conditioning, right? Do you feel still that where you come from and where you are for long many years, you have picked up few conditioning from this city? Is it good, bad, or what?
Absolutely. I would definitely say I've become westernized.
Okay.
Because I am Russian, I've been living in Russia for the first 16 years of my life.
In India, sorry to disturb you, in India people think Russians are Western country as well. So they
really?
think they are West as well.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I wouldn't call Russian people Western people.
What do you call them?
I would say we definitely have Western influence.
Yes.
I would say we're just Russian. It's just kind of like Eastern European, modern
Yes.
West.
Yes, but for masses, when we say India, maybe those who are in Mumbai, Hyderabad, or they go to certain schools and they study well, this, that. But most of the masses of Indians, they have no clue.
Mm-hmm.
It's progressive with today's phone and everything if they see the map, but they consider Europe, UK, USA as West.
Yes.
You understand, like Western culture, West.
That's how I see it as well. Just I wouldn't include Russia in there.
Okay.
Yeah. I
Exclusive Russia.
Excluding Russia. Well, that's not what I would call.
No.
Yeah.
So what all you picked up here? You westernized. When you say westernized, what few points?
Yeah, this is a great question. I would say definitely drinking culture is very different. I know people think that Russians drink a lot, and we do, but it's a bit different.
Okay.
I don't think Russians drink to get wasted necessarily. It's more like to celebrate occasions, and we can drink, vodka and
certain
spirits.
Amount, yes.
Yeah, but here I just didn't expect people to get wasted for the sake of getting wasted. So I've picked that up because I wanted to blend in as an 18-year-old in my university.
Okay. Please listen all this carefully. And those who don't understand English, please ask your friend what this discussion is about. It's nothing other than we all humans, we grow certain age group and we end up doing things. If we don't do, we can be more productive and progressive. But definitely if we do and we stop at the right time by these means of understanding through somebody's experience, can be really beneficial for you and your friends. Please.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also want to caveat, I don't mean to offend any culture here, it's just my perception and certain differences that I noticed within my sort of circles that I was in. Perhaps people that moved from different countries to the UK, they might have a completely different experience.
Yes. True.
This is kind of what was true for me and the differences that I've picked up. And I guess I've picked up social drinking. I didn't really drink in Russia back then.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Please wait there. Social drinking, she mentioned, right? This is very beautiful point. Everything starts as a social gathering and as a recreation or fun, but then it gets worse when 10 people who did socialize and when they separate, go to their places, few of them have traumas or kind of things that has happened to them, and they have nothing else apart from taking this kind of escapes, and then that becomes addiction at certain point. So having social thing is not bad at all, but you have to see that, are you a royal king taken care by hundreds of people who are watching you and helping you, taking care of you, or you are struggling with the life itself and then you are doing on top of that other things which will bring you really into dark place. So that's how it starts. Very important point, right? Please.
Yeah, and I would say also definitely doesn't become a problem for everyone.
No, not at all.
Definitely some people, can enjoy a glass or two or just have
Yes.
their own mindful drinking, I guess, and be completely fine.
Yes.
But I think we should be realistic here, and I
Yes.
think there is scientific research that no ounce of alcohol is beneficial for the human body in any way.
Apart from the seller and the manufacturer.
Exactly, yeah. So we should just be realistic. Is it healthy for us or not? And just go from here. So I think it's a big shame that in a lot of Western countries, and Russia included, alcohol plays such a huge role. So yeah, I've picked that up. And again, we're social creatures. We are scared of social rejection and death by nature.
Yes.
So that's just very normal that, I personally wanted to blend in. Some people want to blend in and they don't want to seem weird. They don't want to seem strange.
Yes.
So they just do what their friends are doing. Yeah.
That's so nicely put up. Going further, like you said, meditation helped you, yoga helped you. When you do yoga, even in today's times, do you think as a holistic life, being a Western person, because in India we eat vegetarian food, most of us, but in Western country, most of them at the breakfast, they have really nice what do you call it? I don't even know. Bacon, ham, and all the other podcast people would know because I've never had it, so I don't know. So this kind of thing is normal, having chicken or egg or. So with your practice, you being maybe eating that before and still you are eating, I don't know, how much it makes you think towards that perspective. That is it needful what you eat, or you can still survive with vegetarian, or do you feel the need or urge to eat non-vegetarian food, or is there any sort of awareness? Nothing wrong to it, but it's just the upbringing and conditioning again, right? Please.
Yeah, I'm not vegetarian at the moment or vegan. I think definitely being physically active and being into a physical discipline, in this case it's yoga asanas, it definitely made me mindful about what I eat because I can sense how different food affects me. So for example, just an example from today. This morning I woke up and I really wanted to have a pastry from a local bakery. But then I was going to a yoga class and I knew that if I had this pastry, it's going to just spike my blood sugar and kind of would make me crash afterwards, and just vibrationally and energetically, I just knew that it wouldn't be the best thing for me to do. So actually coming from that perspective, I decided to go for yogurt and some berries and some nuts, so something more healthy.
Yes.
For me personally, I'm just proceeding with caution when it comes to food because I know my ancestors, Russia and Georgia, they weren't vegetarians. I think different things work for different people.
Yes.
I think we should just look at it from a perspective of our health.
Yes.
In terms of like spiritually, of course, different foods carry different vibrations.
Yes.
I think we should be definitely mindful towards the food that we pick. So
Yes.
if somebody is eating meat, how has this animal been raised, right? Has it been tortured in a factory in a cage?
Yes.
Has it been, enjoying the farms, the grass? Has it been raised in nature? And I do think that you can still be spiritual and practice yoga and spirituality and eat meat. And
Yes.
especially in, different religions, there's still meat. But I do think we should think more about the food that we eat. Not even just the meat, but also even vegetables, right? Because a lot of the vegetables right now, they're sprayed with pesticides and different substances that are not beneficial for us as humans,
Yes.
and can also block certain spiritual parts of ourselves. So I know,
Especially the brain.
yeah, and even I don't know whether you have an opinion on that, but I've heard fluoride from toothpaste, and I know it's a huge problem in the US. They have a lot of fluoride in their water, tap water. I believe it blocks some chakras, or like it affects chakras negatively. I'm again not sure, but it's something that I heard. But it would make sense, right? If we put toxins in our body, they would have an energetic imprint on ourselves. So overall, I'd say definitely encourage me to be more mindful about what I'm putting in my body, whether it is alcohol, whether it is food, whether it is news that I consume. So yeah.
Or people you associate with, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Do you smoke cigarette or anything?
No.
What have you smoked before this podcast?
Nothing.
Okay. So you see, you can hear the clarity towards the food she has. She is still eating meat. There are people who eat meat in India as well, there are certain background of community or whatsoever. There are people who are Brahmins still eat fish because they were born around the coast, near the coast, and we believe in eating seasonal, regional food. But they didn't have access to other food. In today's times, we all have access to many. That doesn't mean we should extremely go and become certain kind of personality and force everyone to be, like you said, rightly balanced. There were many people who did created this beautiful camera which has evolved over a period of time, phone and everything. They eat meat, right? So all sorts of things that happen. Uh, Food, definitely, if you are sincere on the path, something which you are born with definitely changes. And according to my understanding, doesn't matter where you raised whatever animal, right? Still, being in UK, I see many farms, countryside, and this, that, and people who own these farms and things. At the end, for them, it's like they had vegetable and now it's grown and ready to eat. They see like that. Nothing wrong in that. That's their culture and that's how they were raised. That doesn't mean they're less up here or more up there, down there, or whatever. We need to understand, like she said, balanced, and slowly come out of anything makes you a different person. Make good choices, plan your good choices that will make you choose good for now as well. Like her yoga class helped her to. The problem is, you know, with who? People who have money, either they have hardened it or somebody had earned hard for them, doesn't matter. They have lots of money and they think they register for yoga class and they don't even go. They register for some kind of a detox, they don't even go. They think they have registered is enough to feel they have done it, because they don't see £100 or £1,000 here and there makes any difference to their pocket. And there are, on the other hand, people who have lots of money. They will go to every single place and spend the money in ugliest form than going and doing a nice yoga class. Especially Indians, we have so cheap yoga class available, at times free as well, but we will not do. What we will do is, we will have somebody from some other country to say the benefit of it, and then we will think about it. When their parents, sister, brother will say the same thing, they will say, don't teach me. And they will put some R&B or hip hop or some catchy line going on in today, and they start with it. Most of the youth is doing that, but hope they get some help from you. It's basically you get sorted, right? How do you feel overall within yourself now? And definitely, I don't know how far you can foresee things. There are things like you mentioned before, being aware. There is fall down at times. A saint who was saint for 99 years can end up doing mistake in 1 second. A sinner who was sinner for 99 years can turn into the truthful person on the planet. Let's say somebody who's a liar, been lying every single time, everybody knows. Maybe he can speak truth, but nobody will believe. Same, somebody who is a truthful person will lie. People won't consider a lie. They will say, no, this person we have trust and faith. It goes with priests and monks and gurus and whatnot, right? And that's how people sell products, like you said about products. Film stars we see as idol, and they are selling hair oil, paste. They don't even look at it, but they are doing marketing. We end up buying it. Shoes, they will never wear in a million years that shoes we will buy, right? So that's conditioning again, how much we follow. So get real with real podcast, with real people, and understand about it. And when you mention about paste and things, in India, if you, I don't know, when you go to India now, not in dramatic place, which is already westernized and has a western vibe, if you go to Indian rural deep, where people are definitely, everybody's cunning and clever, but where people are still not exposed to certain abusive marketing things, they still have datun. You know what datun is? No. In America, they sell it for $10 as well. It's a stick from a neem tree. So Indians never put before that brush. They had that stick, miswak we call it,
Mm-hmm.
from the miswak tree as well, and they used to chew it and then rot. You understand?
Yeah.
I was born in city, but when I go to the countryside in north, in Kashi, there are still people, but now it is getting modernized. People are having plastic bricks,
Mm-hmm.
whereas the datum was Ayurvedic. You will see, maybe in UK also they sell it in London. It is expensive here. In India we are free, we just take it. But we will not do that. We will go to a shop, ask for a Colgate or XYZ, and like you said about that element and combinations of things which abuse your system, just starting with your tongue or teeth, the moment you put it on your lips in the early morning, right? That's how it starts, miswak. And there are many other such little things we are doing with modern packages, which we used to do nicely at home, which we are not doing anymore, right? So that's Veronica, and I think I've asked her real questions, no dramatic or made up list of questions to sell this podcast. It was clear to help anybody who is out there, younger than her or even older than her, want to shine and be more clear about what you are, where you stand today, and take something out of it. 2 minutes, anything you would like to share with them where they can benefit with the reach of things you had, like TV, books, yoga, or anything which you would like to give them as a help, and one of your real quote by you.
Yeah, so you mean what resources I would recommend?
Yes, which helped you right from the beginning, and
Yeah.
if anything you find difficult, how they can feel courageous with that.
Yeah, I would say to answer your last question, so how to be courageous, I would just say never stop asking questions. Don't believe anyone. Seek your own experience, seek your
But
own
believe
truth.
this podcast. Remember that.
Yes, do believe this podcast. But yeah, please just never stop searching. It's life is such a beautiful experience, and I think it was a guru that said, I think it's like what determines your quality of life is the profoundness of your experience, and you can certainly influence this profoundness through different practices. It doesn't have to be yoga. It can be different disciplines. Can be tai chi. Can be anything that works for you. And in terms of resources, I'd say if you are interested in spirituality, it's going to be different for everyone. Listen to your intuition and listen to the universal guidance. Is there a book that's going to be recommended by somebody you know by chance? Maybe you should check it out. I would also encourage to start slow because sometimes it can get overwhelming. So if you read a very detailed, almost like an ancient scripture, it might get a bit too much too quickly. So I would encourage you to perhaps start with some interpretations. There are some amazing spiritual teachers out there, even from the Western world, right? So Eckhart Tolle, I really enjoy The Power of Now, is very good. Ram Dass, there's just so many. And yeah, podcasts, YouTube videos, there's a bunch of them now. In India, you have a very famous podcast that I really enjoy, Beer Biceps, who spoke about it before. And yeah, just please never stop searching, listen to your intuition, and yeah, I hope it works out for you, and I hope that was really helpful.
So after listening to her advice, try and see with your eyes closed. First you will not see anything, just be there for a while, and there will something nice will pop up. Intuition. If you are seeking positivity, do not go deep and find where you can find the other things to enjoy more. Try and think about to progress and how you will feel nicer every single day of life without depending on any external things, right? That's what you can take from her with her last about Sadguru and other gurus. When she mentioned about overwhelming, it can also get overwhelming in a way or disturbing in a way. All these gurus, you might read them, hear them, but you might end up spending 10 days with them and you will see, oh my god, that's not what I read, that's not what I thought of this person. Sometimes that can disturb you as well, all sorts of politics. But that's not what you have to be concerned about. You have to be concerned about your progress. And if you don't like, leave those gurus or XYZ, but you don't stop your path like Buddha did. He met 1001 gurus, nobody got enlightened, but he did because he was on the path. He wasn't attached to gurus or books, what he read. He was concerned about the journey and destination, not people who and what they are doing wrong at what stage, right? So it happens, because with me as well, being into yoga, I met many yoga teachers, gurus who have been practicing for years and years, worked with them, lived with them, being around with them, and asked questions, like never stop asking, right? But then there is no answer, all drama, all politics. But they can't do anything as well, because that's how the world is. When you are in society doing certain things in terms of business or even good, you have to bribe, you have to do 1001 things. So never question why, what that person is doing and what they are experiencing. Focus on yourself. And here I am today discussing with her, where I was teaching hundreds of students in India, but I never shared those videos or anything to get leverage, or this is just, I want to share real thing for real people. Anybody from any dark place or the brightest place experiencing uneasiness, trouble, stuck or anything, this conversation will help you. If you need money, please work hard and earn your own money. Don't expect that we are going to give you money to progress there. And sometimes you don't even need money. Seek for help from your parents and people around, and check your pocket, and whatever in past you have spent, start collecting that money. Learn, study more, do yoga, do good things for yourself. Learn etiquettes which doesn't take money. Learn how to be positive, how to be in a group without any pressure, without involving yourself into drinks, because that costs as well a lot. And there is a point where you are empty pocket, no matter if your dad or whoever is whatever rich. There is no endless source of money to anybody on the planet apart from few. Even if they have money, they end up dying themselves. What's the point, right? So be away from all these abuses and be more mindful, more aware, see more real people. Any sort of addiction, talk to your parents, listen about this podcast, seek help and progress. Shine, be happy, keep smiling. Thank you. Thank you, Veronica, very much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're most welcome. Let's speak with her after 4 years again. 4 years she is here, after 4 years. And she'll be back from India by then, and many more things, right? Hopefully, we will see her progress and me bald by then. See you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Veronica.
Thank
Hope you had
you.
a nice time.
That was awesome. I actually really enjoyed it.
Hope camera was rolling.